Did you know our next virtual aesthetic marketing seminar is happening May 16th and 17th? We are bringing you 2 days of no nonsense, straight to the point strategies that are working right now in spa so that you can gain the time freedom and financial freedom that you want and deserve. If you're already enrolled in a program at Addo Aesthetics, your ticket is totally free. And if not, you can still join in on the fun for only $97. Head on over to the link in bio on our Instagram page at Addo Aesthetics to get more info and your ticket today. Hello, my dearest, Daniela here, and welcome to the Spa Marketing Made Easy podcast. This episode is brought to you by Addo Aesthetics, the #1 coaching company for aesthetic professionals wanting to step into the role of spa CEO. And today, my friends, I want you to really pay attention to this episode. So, we all spend all of this time building our businesses. We spend hours trying to figure out how to make a reel, or reading 15 different books on leadership, or learning the latest trends happening in the industry so that we can gain and retain more clients and ultimately increase our revenue and therefore increase the amount of money that we're paying ourselves. But here's my question. How do you actually build wealth? What do you do with that money once you start paying yourself? What would happen if you actually started paying attention to your money like you pay attention to your business? Well, building wealth begins, I believe, with hiring a financial advisor. And before you skip to the next episode because you think you don't make enough money to hire a financial advisor, or that simply would just be too expensive, I want you to stick with me here, okay? I've got Brent Weiss. He's the co-founder of Facet Wealth. This is the company that my husband and I use. Our financial advisor is through them. There's a lot of reasons that we chose them, and I talk about that in the episode. Anyway, he is walking us through some of the most common misconceptions when it comes to hiring and working with an advisor. It's a great episode, and I would love if you could share it with a woman in your life. Even if they're not in spa, this is an episode for everyone. Super important. All right, my dears, without further ado, let's go ahead and play that episode. Hello, Brent. Welcome to the Spa Marketing Made Easy podcast. Such an honor to have you here. I'm super excited.
Well, I'm excited as well, Daniela, and thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to our conversation about money today.
Money is such an important conversation. I personally feel with women, with business owners in general. And tell me your exact role at Facet. Tell me how Facet came to be, because just talking about money, it's one of those things that, you're not supposed to talk about money or religion, politics, right, all these things. But I want to spread the word, and you guys are helping to do that. So real quick, one thing you mentioned, how money is sort of taboo in society. It's interesting. We're not supposed to talk about politics or religion, but do you know that people would rather talk about politics and religion than money? I find that very fascinating. That's how sort of distant we've become from this thing that can be a very powerful tool in our lives. The last thing you said there was about sort of spreading the word. There's two things essentially that I do. The first thing is I'm a co-founder here at Facet Wealth. I've been a financial planner for about 20 years now. I don't even say that it's what I do. It's literally part of who I am. It's the one thing I've done in my career and the only thing I want to do in my career. So that's led me today. My technical title is the Chief Evangelist, which has three. I knew it was something like that. I was like, what is that exactly?
It's sort of a cop out for spokesperson to some extent. But what it means, there's three things that I do. Keeper of the cause, spreader of the word, and champion of financial empowerment. So keeper of the cause is really making sure that we started this company for one reason, to make sure that everyone has access to unbiased, personalized financial advice that I believe is essential to living well. That's number one. Number two is spreader of the word, making sure that people are aware of a few things. Number one, that financial advice is not just about your investments. It's about every aspect of your life that money touches. It's not just for the wealthy. It's for all of us, right? And that it's affordable and accessible. And then the third thing is champion of financial empowerment. I'm a believer in all of the people fighting the good fight in my industry. There's plenty of them that aren't, but plenty of them that are, to help everyday Americans, Main Street, not Wall Street, realize their own power when it comes to making money a tool to help them, or I'll say to put them in control of the life they want to live.
And that's it. I love that. And it's so important. One of the things that I wanted to really just highlight in this episode is that there is this kind of belief or false belief that financial planning or having a financial planner or anything like that is only reserved for the super wealthy. And I feel like the way that you get super wealthy is by having a financial planner. And what really, so I have been talking about Facet Wealth. I use Facet Wealth for my own financial planner. We work with Rick. He's awesome. He's helped us a lot. And he has become a really integral part of my business in a sense, because, I am setting my business goals based on my personal financial goals, right? So my personal goals about the life I want to live with my husband, the plans that we have for our life when we want to retire, when our kids are going to school, all of these things. Well, being an entrepreneur, I need to set my business goals based on that. So my CPA, my financial advisor, my lawyer, they're all very involved in those conversations. And for our listeners here on this podcast and the clients that we serve, a lot of the clients we serve in our Growth Factor program are typically in that 200 to 500,000 per year range. Mm-hmm. You need a financial advisor. That is a really important piece of the puzzle to help you get to the next level.
Yeah. The way I look at this is you made a great point, Danielle. Financial advice, the financial services industry has not done a very good job of sharing with people how powerful money can be as a tool in your life, right? Mm-hmm. And you think about this, it's not what you do once you have $1 million saved or invested that matters most. It's arguably the next decision you make with money. It's the first dollar. And to your point, and what I love about what sort of your journey is and your mission as an entrepreneur is helping individuals even get started, how to elevate their business to the next level. But so many things we do, the next decision with money is going to be the catalyst or the thing that holds us back from where we actually go in life. And the thing you mentioned as well was sort of a personalized strategy. One of the things I do with my clients and our clients here at Facet, before we even get into talk about money, we talk about life. Mm-hmm. And I have this exercise that I call the to be versus the to-do list. Because what do we focus on a lot of? The to-do list, right? I have to, get up and take the kids to school and walk the dog and, maybe pay the bills and whatever. And I go, before we get into this money conversation, I go, let's actually talk about who we want to be. What do we want our life to look like? It's almost like design your ideal day. And then we're going to figure out, are the decisions you're making with money aligned to the life that you want to live? We often find that it's not perfectly aligned. And that's where we start adjusting. And then we say, okay, now we can understand how money can be a really powerful tool for you. But we first have to identify where you, not the rest of the world, where you want to go and what's going to make you feel happy, fulfilled, find purpose in your work. And that's a really critical foundational part of financial planning that starts today, not once you've reached $1 million.
Oh, I couldn't agree with that more. And something I think is really important to highlight. A lot of women, and I'm just overgeneralizing saying women because 99% of our industry is women. We do have a few guys out there and we love you, but most of us are women here. And a lot of times this is a second career. And so because the beauty industry is not a real job, there's a lot of stigma attached to this industry, even though we have spas that are earning 7 and 8 figures, it's not a real job. But a lot of women that get into this industry, they come in, they're finally doing something they're passionate about, but they're starting at 40 or 45. Mm-hmm. They don't have retirement and they feel like they're never going to be able to retire. And one of the things in my personal story, when we started working with Rick, I said, hey, Rick, here's our goals as a family. And here's when we want to retire and down ramp. Is this even possible for us? Mm-hmm. And just by him looking at like, all right, here's what you need to do. Here's like really helping to map out the numbers. It made it seem it is possible and it will happen because now we have a crystal clear plan. And I think it's so important that we don't give up, even if you're 40 or 50 or whatever age in saving, because you still have so much time to allow that compounding interest to go, even if you're
That's
just
right.
saving a little bit at a time.
Well, it's interesting. I wrote an article not too long ago about why your 40s matter the most. And by the way, every decade matters depending on where you are in your life stage. But it was interesting when I was doing research for that, not just talking to my clients and talking to our planners here at Facet. One of the things that came out is, and you're talking about people starting a business in their 40s. I think the average age of an entrepreneur, someone starting their first business, is around 44-ish, plus or minus a few. Don't let the facts ruin a good story. But what it also tells me is people are starting their second act, a new chapter, and it should be exciting. But often what we miss is we go, oh, geez, I haven't started yet. This is my first go. I'm way behind. What we don't realize is this is normal, right? This is where most people are starting. The good news is if you take action today, whether it's starting your business, building your dream life, or starting to save for retirement, you still have time. I always say there's always time. Depending on when you start, you'll have to make different sacrifices or compromises. The earlier you start, the better. And I love the fact for everybody out there that's starting their dream business today. First of all, congratulations, kudos for taking that leap of faith. That is scary. It is hard, but ultimately the most rewarding thing you will probably ever do. I'll bring this back to clarity. I think it's something you say in your podcast. Maybe it's on your website when I was doing some research for this. I think you take people from chaos to clarity.
Yeah.
What I find when I sit down with my clients or I look at clients at Facet, a lot of times they come in, they're successful people. They sort of understand the idea of money, but there's a bit of chaos in their financial life. The first thing we want to do is actually get organized. And then once they see their bigger picture, right? And they go, oh, this makes sense. And we go, okay, now where do we want to go? Now, how do we connect the dots? That's often the starting point of getting back on track or saving for the business, retirement, whatever it is. And that's a really critical point I want to get across to your audience here.
So if someone's interested in working with a financial advisor, like what are the first steps they should be taking? What are the questions they should be asking? What should they expect from their financial advisor in that relationship? How do you kind of pull back the curtain?
It's hard, number one. And as a financial planner, having done this for 20 years, I can tell you that the reason I started Facet in 2016, I spent about a decade. I ran I'll say traditional wealth management firm, doing air quotes here. I'll share with you what that means. And what I found is three primary problems in the industry, which led us to start Facet. Was number one, the quality of advice was very inconsistent. I always jokingly say you can literally read a Dr. Seuss book, pass an exam, and claim to be a financial advisor. There was no standard of care within the industry. And I said, that's not okay, because I believe there should be a standard for the type of advice that people can expect, right? Elevating the expectations when it comes to working with a financial advisor. Number two, the quality of the advisor, him or herself, right? What level education, experience, ethical standards do they hold themselves to? That there's no actual standard that exists, broadly speaking, in the industry. Now, I'm a CFP professional, certified financial planner. The CFP board has created, I think, the gold standard, the highest ethical standard, meaning we always have to do what's right for you. And the third thing is how people charge. The fee structures can be very different. I'm a reformed assets under management charging financial advisor, which means I used to charge people based upon how much they invested with me. That model's broken. It's wrong. That's why we do a flat fixed fee. So real quick, 3 questions you can ask a financial advisor. Number one, are you a CFP professional? It is the gold standard, the only type of financial advisor you should work with: experience, education, and highest ethical standards. Number two, what services do you provide? Traditional financial advice is, I will help you invest your money, and that's it. But 90% of our life isn't in our investable assets, right? It's in getting married, starting a family, starting a business, sending your kid to college, retirement, buying your dream home. All of these things matter. You want advice for every aspect of your life. And the final thing is, go ahead.
I was going to say, I know that Rick helped us so much with life insurance and figuring out how much we needed to be insured for. And I was like, wow, I guess we're really grown-ups now that we have life insurance. But that was a big thing that we didn't know about, and he really walked us through and taught us the questions we need to ask and all of that. So something that does have something to do with money, but not investable assets, right? It was really like protecting.
My favorite moment when I'm speaking with one of my clients, that I have a few relationships that I represent, is that you're running the business is hard, but I still keep a couple of clients because I want to remain sharp. And this is what I enjoy. My favorite moment in those meetings is when someone says, Brent, I didn't know I could ask my financial advisor that. Mm-hmm. And this is important for anybody looking for a financial advisor. You shouldn't expect to know all of the right questions to ask when you get in there. But if you find an advisor that's willing to be part of, like, a teammate of yours, a coach to you, they should help you understand that anything in your life that money touches can be a question you can ask about. One of the biggest things is workplace benefits, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's open enrollment and healthcare decisions and disability insurance. By the way, hashtag adulting. You're talking about insurance and healthcare and life insurance, right? But they're critically important to building your foundation and freeing yourself from financial worry. So many things are missed in traditional financial advice, which is why I think when you look at advice for all facets of your life, you start to get the kind of advice that can truly transform the way you live and put you in control of how you spend your time and your money.
Yeah. One of the things in particular that really got me about your company, I had worked with a financial advisor in the past, and it was one of the companies that you're kind of describing before, where it was just like, it was all about just invest in this, and this is what you need to do. And I didn't feel really supported, and I felt a little bit taken advantage of, and just didn't have the best experience. And so I thought, oh, I'm really good with budgeting and managing my personal money and all of that. So I just don't need a financial advisor, And I read an article, and it was talking about you guys being fiduciaries, and like a fiduciary by definition, you are, I think, legally and ethically required to
nailed it. Bingo.
Yeah. To say what is in the best interest of the client.
Yes.
And so for me, I was like, oh, so they can't just be like, oh, you've got to get in this index fund or this whatever, because that's going to make me more money. It's no, you're required to answer, in the best interest of the client, no matter what. And that felt so good for me. And the other piece, I know your guys' pricing structure, you do an evaluation. But then after that, it's like, you get locked in at that price, or at least we did. I think that's,
yes, that is normal. It is a flat fixed fee. That is correct.
Yeah. And that's so nice, because as your wealth grows, it's stuck at that rate. It's locked in at that rate. And so it's this, instead of just being a bigger and a bigger and a bigger fee. And that just felt really good to me. It felt like I was being supported. And it's just been such a tremendous benefit for my business. And so I feel like I just want to spread the word to all the business owners out there, because you may think you're in a place where maybe you only have $100 a month to invest, but it makes a difference. It really does. And by having someone who knows more than you do about money, or knows, you can bounce these ideas off of, it's just tremendously, tremendously helpful.
Well, I think it's important so first of all, thank you for sharing all that. You can absolutely be an evangelist for Facet, Daniela. So please go spread the word for us. And I think, all kidding aside, when it comes to that, when we started this company in 2016, we kind of took a step back and said, if we were going to be a client, or if we were looking for financial advice, what kind of company would we want to go to? And we built it from the ground up and said, well, let's go pay a fair, fixed, transparent fee, not something based upon an arbitrary number like how much you invest. The industry will tell you that this is the way to do it, right? Because when you make more money, we make more money. My take is, when you make more money, you should make more money. Keep it, let it work for you and your family, and the dreams you want to, the life you want to build, the dreams you have, all that kind of stuff. And so we said, well, the fee needs to change. It's arbitrary. Just because you save more, you save and invest more, your investments go up, and your advisor makes more money, but often doesn't give you more. How does that make sense? So a flat fixed fee solves for all that. By the way, puts us on the same side of the table as you from a conversation perspective. I'm not here trying to sell you anything. Insurance, right? I don't get paid for this. I think it's best for you. Managing money with Facet, we do that for free, no additional cost. I'm not doing it because I'm selling you to make more money. It's because I believe we can do a great job. Every decision we help our clients make is literally in their best interest, which is the fiduciary standard. The funny thing is, we started this business when the industry was going through, they were trying to define a fiduciary standard. The industry fought it and got rid of it. So there is no fiduciary standard in the financial services space, because financial advisors said, whoa, we don't want that. What about our interests? And so we said, forget about it. We're all CFP professionals. We're happy to call ourselves fiduciaries and happy to be on the same side of the table as our clients, helping them make better decisions.
Now, for someone that is interested in learning more about Facet, do you guys work with only clients in the US? Do you work with Canadians? Like, what is the scope?
So I'll say it depends. Reach out to me. You can send me an email, Brent, Brent at facetwealth.com, or follow me at the Brent Weiss on Twitter or LinkedIn. We even have TikTok now, which is crazy. And the short answer is typically yes. U.S. citizens are generally where we focus our time. There are some compliance reasons around what other work that we do. There are some workarounds in some cases, depending on citizenship, et cetera. So if you're interested, you want to learn more, reach out to us. We'll walk you through. And by the way, we'll tell you, yes, we can do a great job, or hey, you know what, we can't, but we do know some other financial advisors that work specifically with international communities to make sure you're getting the best advice. And if we can't provide it, we're going to make sure we can help you find it.
Anything else? You don't know what you don't know. Anything else I'm not asking that someone should know when moving forward with a financial advisor, or kind of stepping into that new arena of life?
So I'll start with the three things we talked about earlier. First of all, do your research, right? Make sure you understand what you're getting into. Go to a resource you can trust. Make sure, in my opinion, I'm biased in my opinion, but I believe in this, honestly. You want to work with someone who's credentialed, because that just means they have the education and experience. So make sure they're a CFP professional. That doesn't solve all the problems. Number two, make sure they're offering the right kind of advice. The industry is still very heavily weighted towards this investment advice model, which, by the way, I'm not against helping people build wealth. That's part of what we do. It just shouldn't be the focus, especially for the clients that we work with every single day, because to your point, you're running a business, right? We should be able to help you understand, how do you grow that business? How do you utilize your cash flow? Where do you want that to go? And then yes, ultimately invest and build it. Number three is how advisors charge. Understand how a financial advisor does charge for their services. Is it based upon investment? Is it hourly or per plan? Or is it a flat fixed fee? Outside of that, I'd make sure that you understand the ongoing nature of the relationship. Because one of the things that we take pride in is helping our clients. Look, I say this, life is ever changing and a little messy at times. So you need an ongoing and evolving financial plan. My belief is, some people look at a one-time plan and say, here, Daniela, here's your plan. Go do it. Right. There's actually studies on this. Less than 20% of the advice in those situations that's rendered is ever acted on. That's not a very good percentage of success, because it's hard. We're busy. So one of the things we do is we do regular check-ins with our clients, because life is going to change. So we evolve their strategy. Plus we help with implementation. We'll help with the life insurance piece, the estate planning documents. They're really not fun things that are foundational to it. And then we check in every single year. We're making sure we're adapting and evolving that plan. And the other thing I'd say is, ask anything of your advisor. If they can't answer it, they'll tell you, but they'll find somebody to help you do it. Don't be afraid of it. If your advisor makes you feel ashamed of asking questions about money, or really hard money stories from your past about your parents, because my parents never talked about money, it's probably not a good fit for you. Find somebody you can trust. Find somebody who has the right business model. Find someone who will give you the right advice. And I honestly believe it will be not a cost, but the best investment you can make in your future.
My last question, is there any person who should not have a financial advisor? Like if it's day one, you're starting your business, you haven't earned any money. Is there like a certain threshold you should be at before?
My answer is always no. And the reason I say that is, look, some of my best friends, even, going back a couple of years before we started Facet, I would ask them, why don't you work with an advisor? Like, well, I don't have enough money yet. And I'm like, but don't you have questions? But like, I have questions every day about money. I'm just not sure what to do, but I need money to work with an advisor. If you're a DIYer, right? I always say there's reasons Home Depot exists, because people like to go to Home Depot and do their own projects. There are a lot of people that hire contractors to come and do their projects. If you like to DIY, working with a full service financial planner may not be the best fit for you. But if you want to make sure that you're making smarter, more informed decisions, navigating life with clarity and confidence, giving yourself the power to choose how you spend your money or time, and putting yourself in control of the life you want to live, not just in the future, but today, you should at least sit down with a financial advisor, interview them, understand if they can adjust their fee, because we tailor our fee to our clients. Mm-hmm. There's no one fee. Not every client comes in paying a couple $1,000s. There's a sliding scale based upon needs, services, complexity. So we can make it work for our clients. I think you'd be doing yourself a disservice to say, oh, I'm not ready. I'm not there yet. I don't have enough money. Financial advice should be affordable and accessible to all. That's ultimately our mission here at Facet Wealth. We're working on that day in and day out. But I would say at least talk to somebody and see how they can help. Call us if you want to. We're not going to sell you anything. We're just going to see if we can help. And if we can, I hope we can help you build a great business or the life you want.
I love that. And we've got a link below this video. So make sure that you click that, check it out, book a call. It's going to cost you your time, but it could make you gain so much more. We are building our businesses to make an impact, to help people, to serve our communities, but we are also building a business to earn a living for ourselves. And there is no shame in paying yourself and creating that to build the life that you want to live. And we need help in those areas. So I highly encourage you guys to click the link below, book a call with Facet Wealth. I personally love this company, and it's the company that we are using. If they don't align with you, find somebody else, find someone that does. But when we were doing our research, this is the company that really just spoke to us and worked for us. So check them out. And as always, if you want to continue this conversation, please head on over to the Spa Marketing Made Easy Facebook group, tag us, let us know your questions, let us know how we can help and support you. Brent, thank you so much for your time. I so appreciate it. I know that this is really just people's minds are going to be spinning around trying to figure this stuff out. And I hope that it helps them to take action on this next phase of their journey.
Well, first of all, it's great to be here, Danielle. Thank you for the opportunity. And at the very least, in the words that you use when you think, I hope we can, even if people reach out, take a little bit of money chaos and turn it into some money clarity and help them make smarter, more informed decisions. However, money can be a powerful tool in their lives.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.